Hey, what's good? This is Black Authentic Truth. Deion Sanders has been in the news with brothers and sisters because he's leaving a HBCU to go to a bigger college. And black people are upset because they feel like he should have stayed down with the smaller black college and not move on like a lot of people do. He took the bag, he took the money, they was offering more money, and he left. And I came across a post with a brother that was saying basically that black people always talk about generational wealth and they always talk about leaving a legacy. But the minute that somebody does do that, like in the case of Deion Sanders, now black people have a problem with it. So, of course, I'm going to get into generational wealth, leaving a legacy, and the issues that black people have. This video is not really about Deion Sanders, but that post that I saw by the brother was a catalyst for this discussion. Now, I will just say straight up that when it comes to black people getting promotions or getting a bigger opportunity, of course, if you got to feed your family, I think that's what you should do. So I can understand also the other side where black people are upset, thinking that he should be down. But also what you got to think about is that a lot of black people that are mad at Deion Sanders, they would do the same thing if they were in his position. So that's just my take on the Deion Sanders issue, the discussion and all of that. But really what I want to talk about is generational wealth. When black people talk about we need to build generational wealth, we need to leave a legacy, I always wonder what the hell are they talking about? Because when you think about generational wealth, or at least the first time I've ever heard the term generational wealth, it was related to slave masters or white families today who have long money that is extended from the time of slavery. Now, in recent years, you've seen it more on social media where you see black people saying that we need to build generational wealth and leave a legacy. Now, I call it BS, and I call it BS because when you think about generational wealth or trying to build it, you have to look at white supremacy as the blueprint. And we live in another man's legacy, and that legacy is white supremacy. And so how can you build a legacy within a nation that is not yours? How can you build a legacy or generational wealth on a foundation that is not yours? Now, I believe black people are the greatest people God ever created. So don't get me wrong in thinking that I just feel that it could never be possible. But there are a lot of issues that we have as a people that are bigger than trying to create generational wealth. Because of the history that we have and, not having things and coming from slavery, we have a mindset that is very rooted in materialism, and we're always talking about money and getting a bag, and that is like the foundation of our discussion in the black community. The discussion basically boils down to survival. We're literally talking about survival on a daily basis. Now, there was a study that came out a couple of years ago that basically said in order for the average black family's net worth to reach that of the average white family's net worth, it would take 228 years. Yes, it would take 228 years. And that just shows you there are things that are unseen that I don't think black people actually take into account when they're talking this talk about generational wealth. Hey, check this out. Before I go any further in this video, it's come to my attention that 90% of you that watch me are not even subscribed to my channel. Where they do that at? Listen, man, don't be no hater. Show your brother some love, hit that subscribe button, and keep it black and authentic. And without further ado, I'm gonna get back to the video. There's a scripture in Ecclesiastes. I can't remember it off the top of my head, but I'm gonna paraphrase it for you. Put it on the screen. Now, you make all of this money, this generational wealth. You get the bag, you work hard your whole life, and then guess what? The fact remains that that money is going to go to either your children, somebody that's controlling your estate, or a lawyer or whoever. It's going to go to somebody that didn't have to work for the money, and they're going to do what they want to do with it. So, for instance, you could build a legacy. You can build generational wealth, and then it goes to your sons or your daughters, and they squander that money, right? They make bad decisions, they gamble, they do all type of things with that money, and then it's squandered. But you worked your whole life for it, and it went to somebody that didn't have to work for it, and you actually will never know or have control of whether or not your plan of generational wealth even succeeded. So here's the thing, we have a lot of issues within our community, And generational wealth, money, all of those things don't cure those problems. We have selfishness, we have greed, we have self-hatred, we hate one another, we murder each other, we have molestation, we have sexual deviance in our community. We have a lot of problems. The list goes on, and money is not going to fix those problems. We look at the lives of celebrities and we look at the lives of people on television and magazines, and we think we want that life. We look at them and say, if only I had that money, I wouldn't have to worry about these bills. Life would be good. Then you really start to look at the celebrities and you see that the celebrities that have these lifestyles, their lives are upside down and they don't have any mental health, and they're damn near going crazy every time you look around. So that's an easy example to look at. Now, at the same time, every year, I guess it's voting time or whatever, the talk about reparations comes up again. And they have done studies on reparations. They equated it to $14-15 trillion. And so black people could receive anywhere between $200,000 and $350,000. But because of the problems that we have in our mind state that we are in the black community, a lot of that money would be squandered overnight. A lot of black people would buy Gucci and Balenciaga and cars and rims and houses, and none of that will actually help us. None of that will actually fix us. You see, the legacy of slavery, of trauma, of racism, of discrimination, of infiltration, the pressure of trying to be perfect in a system that is built off of white supremacy has taken its toll on black people. And when we are put in a position or we get money, we are not mentally stable enough, or we don't have the wherewithal or the morals, the direction to even do what's right when we do have money like that. Like, money won't stop a hater from hating. Money won't stop a molester from molesting. Money won't stop a hoe from hoeing. Get my point? So what is the solution? Like, first, we have to admit in the black community that we have problems. That's the first thing. We got to admit it, that we have problems. And then we have to look to treat each other with respect, treat one another how we want to be treated. We also have to train up our children the right way and not let society and movies and social media raise our children. Now, these are some definite things that can help us as a people. And furthermore, when we're talking about money, we're really talking about survival. We're talking about living and being able to have a fulfilling, happy life. If we knew how to love one another and work with one another, we wouldn't have to worry about food, clothing, or shelter. We wouldn't have to go to another people and ask for those things. So in conclusion, we should focus on building a legacy of morally righteous and dignified black people. That's the real generational wealth that will actually matter and actually count and actually make sense. So let me know what you think about this video. Give me your thoughts, your comments, and your opinions. And with that, you already know what time it is. This is Black Authentic Truth.